Another link for Derby County, and this time it's a goalkeeper. A goalkeeper that Paul Warne has worked with in the past. His name is Viktor Johansson, currently at Rotherham United. What is going to happen with him? Shall we get into it? Let's find out who he is, where he comes from, and how Derby could get a deal done. So here we have Viktor Johansson, arguably one of the best keepers in the Championship last season. Despite obviously getting relegated, I think he ranked quite highly in all of the statistics. I think he was just unlucky with arguably a poor back three, back four, back five in front of him. And Viktor Johansson is a player who Paul Warne bought to Rotherham. He's a player who Paul Warne could bring to Derby County. Now, there's obviously a lot of caveats to that, because for me, he's going to cost a pretty penny, and we'll get into that further down the line. But it also means that Derby County are going to lose probably Joe Wildsmith, because Josh Vickers has I believe, another year on his contract, and I can't see Derby getting rid of him because he's a Paul Warne player who Paul Warne was adamant on bringing in. So for me, it's going to be very interesting to see how this deal happens, if it does happen. Now, if we do look at Viktor Johansson as a player, he is a 25-year-old goalkeeper born on the 14th of September, according to Google. Could be wrong. I know with Jamal Lowe, Google told me that he was 29, but some people in the comments thought he was 30. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe he's 25. This is the date of birth given on Google. Currently plays at Rotherham United, and his contract expires in 2025. If you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below or in this top corner to stay tuned for all my latest EFL, League One and Championship content, as well as Derby County and Formula One content on this channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Let me know your thoughts about the potential signing of Viktor Johansson, as well as taking a look at the membership. There is a link in the description which tells you all about what is going on this channel with that, so make sure you do click that and check it out. Now, the big thing about this is Rotherham have been relegated down to League One, and Johansson is expected to move on this summer. Now, there's been a lot of interest in him over this season, and I believe at some points there was Premier League interest in him. Now, whether that interest is still there, whether that interest is going to be acted upon, I do not know. But I think the fact that they're expecting him to leave, and there is a value being pushed about in the press, which I think is quite decent value for a goalkeeper of the calibre that he is supposed to be. And as much as I'll get into my thoughts on the deal a bit later on in the video, but I think if the price that is being quoted is right, then I think it is a good deal. But it would also mean a lot more to the club as Derby, for Wildsmith to stay, in my opinion. I'm not saying that Johansson wouldn't be an upgrade, because personally, I do not know. I know Johansson's had a really good season at Rotherham, despite the fact they've been relegated. The fans of Rotherham love him, and obviously there was a story going around in the press that he put enough money behind a bar for 600 pints, and I think it just shows exactly what Paul wants in a player: a very good person and also good ability. Now, if we do take a look at his career, he's played at 5 clubs throughout, them being Rotherham, most notably 144 appearances for them. He also spent time with Leicester's Academy, where he played 41 games, Aston Villa's Academy, where he played over 30 games, and then he spent time at Alfreton Town and Hammarby. 233 career appearances. Obviously, as you can tell, only 153 of those are senior appearances, where he's conceded 218 goals and kept 36 clean sheets out of his 59, and 318 conceded. And he's only picked up 11 yellows throughout his entire career. Now, I think these numbers are a bit distorted by the fact that he's played for Rotherham. Now, I'm not saying Rotherham don't have good periods, because obviously we know what they're like in League One, but in the Championship, which is where he spent the last 2 seasons, so up to 82 matches he could have played in the Championship. I think you've got to take that into consideration when you look at his clean sheet numbers. Now, 36 in 144 for a relegation threatened side doesn't seem too bad. 199 goals conceded in 144 games isn't ridiculously bad, but obviously you've got the caveats of playing in the Championship for a not very good side, and obviously we spoke about it already. He is a goalkeeper, so for me it would mean that Wildsmith's moving on for me. Now, does that then mean that he doesn't trust Josh Vickers to be our number one in the Championship? Obviously, Vickers was his number one at Rotherham for a period of time, and then obviously Johansson came in, and it seems like it is potentially one of those where he's going back to tried and tested, and it will be very interesting to see how it does happen. Now, if we keep Wildsmith, I do not think that... If we keep Wildsmith, I don't think we even go for Johansson. Do I think we're going for Johansson anyway? I'm not sure, to be completely honest. And obviously, the rumoured fee, which I spoke about earlier on in the video, is about £900,000. Now, if Derby was to sign him, I think it'd be 3 to 4 year contract easily. I think if you're spending that amount of money, you've got to give it 3 or 4 years, because there's a lot of talk about the fact that if we pay that £900,000 for him now, in a year or so's time, it'd be £4, £5, £6 million as a goalkeeper. Now, do I think that could be the case? Absolutely. Anybody can rise in value like that. You look at Corey Blackett-Taylor. We've spent, £300,000-400,000 on him. If he goes and gets 20, 30 goal contributions next season in the Championship, you look at Sammy Schmodics, they're quoting 25, 30 million for him from Blackburn. And he's had his first really good Championship season, obviously taking top goal scorer. So, obviously, if Johansson has a really good season, there is absolutely no reason why his value can't double, triple, quadruple, maybe even 10 times the rumoured fee. But for me, that £900,000 could be spent elsewhere. Obviously, we know the importance of bringing in a player like Ibu Adams. The rumoured asking price for him is about £500,000 from Cardiff City, and Derby County are supposedly preparing a bid of £250,000 for him. So it's like, for Ibu Adams, you can get 2 or 3, 4 really, Johanssons. You obviously then have to think about wage demands and stuff like that. Like, if you just round it up to £1 million, you can pay pretty much 20 grand a week to a player. And I'd love to know, if Wildsmith is to move on, what the reason is for that. Because if it comes down to financials, then my question will be, well, if we then go out and spend £900,000, why did we not just give him 12 grand a week, 13 grand a week? I don't know what he's on. I don't know what the askings are. But obviously, for this deal to go ahead, you have to think that one of the keepers is leaving, whether that be Vickers or Wildsmith, and I can't see Vickers leaving, so it's then put on to Joe Wildsmith. Obviously, with his contract expiring, there was rumours earlier in the season that he turned down a contract. Did he turn down a contract? Who knows? So it's going to be very interesting to see how this works. And for me, I've got no problem with a signing like Viktor Johansson. I think it's a value for money signing. Now, do I think Derby are going to be spending loads of money this window? No. I'd be very, very surprised if we spent anywhere near £5 million, because we need so many players. We just need to build a base this summer and then add to it as time goes on. Now, for me, looking at the current teams in the Championship, I think should Derby recruit well, I think there's no reason why we can't be up at the top echelons of the division. But the important thing is recruiting well. We know that Paul Warne is heading to, I think it's Denmark and the Netherlands, to look at some players over the next few weeks. He spoke about that in an interview with Rams TV, sort of reviewing the season. So I think that could be obviously really good value for money signings from abroad. There's a few players that have been mentioned to me by fans from those areas that I'm going to take a look into, see if there's any sort of murmurs about them coming here, because obviously we know with Kamil Juzwiak it was denied by Derby, but then it was sort of abroad, it was sort of like, oh, it's a done deal, he's going for his medical, he's at the ground. Like, so it's one of those where we could be saying we don't know anybody, but over there they're saying, oh, there's interest from Derby for this player. So I am going to be looking into that, because they're going to be the sorts of players that you guys aren't going to have a single clue about. And that's what I want to bring to this channel. And you obviously have to let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Do you think Viktor Johansson would be a good signing? Do you think losing Joe Wildsmith is the right decision? Obviously, as I'm recording this video, and I believe when I upload it, the retained list probably won't be out. I am recording it on the 5th of May. The players are in Vegas at the minute. Not 100% sure when they get back, but it'll be interesting to see when that retained list dropped, who is staying and who is going. We'll go through it all on the channel, and you can give me your thoughts down in the comments. Who should stay? Who should go? Do you think Viktor Johansson's a good signing? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Hit that subscribe button while you're at it, and I'll catch you in my next video. Make sure to go and find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula 1 and football weekend.